Last two problems, and they're word problems. Two ships leave a harbor at the same time. One ship travels on a bearing of south 15 degrees west at 15 miles an hour. The other ship travels on a bearing of north 75 degrees east at 12 miles per hour. How far apart will the ships be after 2 hours? All right, so I already drew the picture. Here is the harbor. Okay, the first one starts off on south and then swings out 15 degrees to the west. Okay, so that's where this boat is right now. This one, his bearing is north, and then he swings out 75 degrees to the east. So that's where this boat is. But we're interested in how far away the two boats are from each other. So where did these two numbers come from? Well, this one says he's going 15 miles an hour, and we know that they're going for 2 hours. So that's where the 30 comes from. This one says he's going 12 miles an hour, and he's going for 2 hours. So I know that that's the one. So basically, I need to know this length right here. Those must be waves in the ocean. And but I do know this angle measure. Okay, so I don't want to use the 75 because that tells me how many degrees out from the north I am. I want to use 15 because 15 and 75 makes 90. Okay, so that's a 90-degree angle. So this is 15, this is 15. So that's 30. Plus this 90-degree angle makes this full angle, it was 90. Well, now that entire angle is 120 degrees. And I want to know this side. And so if this is big A and big B, that makes this little a and this little b. I need to know little c. So finding little c, c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times the cosine of big C. So I'm trying to find little c. So I'm trying to find c squared. That equals a squared, which is 24 squared, which is 576, correct? Why, yes, it is. So that's 576 plus b squared is 30 times 30, which is 900, minus 2 times 24 times 30 times the cosine of that entire angle, which is 120 degrees. Okay, so everything over here I can slap in my calculator. So c squared is going to equal 576 plus 900 minus 2 times 24 times 30 times the cosine of 120. And that gives me 2196. So c squared is 2196. I don't care about c squared. I care about c. So when I take that square root of both sides, remember you're supposed to do a plus minus, but this is distance and it's positive. So I find out that c is 46.86 miles. Okay, so they're about 47 miles apart. The next one, or the last one, hang on one side, is, I already drew this picture too. Okay, so we have, you're on a fishing boat that leaves its pier and it heads east directly. Okay, after traveling for 25 miles, there's a report warning of rough seas directly south. So you're looking directly south. The captain turns the boat and follows a bearing of south 40 degrees west for 14.9 miles. Okay, that's how long he does this for. So the question is, what does this pretty picture look like? Well, he started here. He went due east 25 miles. Okay, and then he swung out from the south. He swung out 40 degrees west. So this angle measure is 40, but remember I need this angle measure, which is part of the triangle. So that angle measure is 50. And I do know that once he changed his course, he went for 14.1 miles. So this is my boat. That's where the boat is now. The question is in two parts. That's the harbor. Okay, I want to know, I don't know what I want to know. I'm about how many miles from the pier? So I want to know what this side length is. Okay, so this is H for pier. Okay, so how far is this boat from the pier? Which means I'm trying to find, we'll just say little a. Okay, so I've got an angle measure. So I'm going to say a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of c, which I just wrote was 50. Sorry. All right, so A squared is B squared is 14.9 squared, which gives me 222.01, plus C squared, which is 25 squared, okay? So I get 625 minus 2 times 14.9 times 25 times the cosine of 50. So I'll be able to find out what this is. Now, remember, take a square root. So if I slap all this stuff in my calculator, I get 222.01 plus 625 minus 2 times 14.9 times 25 times the cosine of 50. And I've already taken the square root. Okay, so don't do a square root again. So I got 19.2. So A is 19.2 miles. Okay, so this is 19.2. Well, now I want to know what bearing could the captain have taken if we wanted to know where he ended up. Okay, so what I am trying to find out is from the south, I know I've got to figure out how far to swing east. So basically, if I know what this angle measure is, I can subtract it from 90 and find out what this angle measure is. Okay, so do I have a completed ratio? Yes, I do. So I'm going to do the sine of 50. So the sine of 50 over 19.2 miles equals, and I need this side, okay? So the sine of, I don't care what variable you use, the sine of B over 14.9. And now I can cross multiply. So this becomes 14.9 times the sine of 50 equals 19.2 times the sine of B. So divide both sides by 19.2. And then since we're finding an angle measure, we're going to take the arc sine of both sides. So the arc sine, that's not right. The arc sine of 14.9 times the sine of 50 divided by 19.2 gives me 36.5. So this angle measure is 36.5. But remember, for bearings, we have to either start with north or south first. So what is the leftover part? Because 36.5 plus this angle measure needs to be 90. So 90 minus 36.5 is going to be negative 53 point, that's a lie, 53.5. So this angle measure is 53.5. Now go back to bearings, because that's all I need right now. The boat is going to start out going south. How far does he need to swing over? He needs to swing over 53.5 degrees. And did he swing to the east or did he swing to the west? He swung to the east. So he could have started out on that bearing, and he would be right here, and he would have never seen the storm. So that is it for 6.2.